I never imagined a day would come when my daughter's laughter would become the price for someone's insanity. That evening still burns in my memory, like a wound that refuses to heal. I'd just gotten home from work, the neighborhood unusually quiet, the kind of silence that warns you before a storm. As I pulled into my driveway, I froze. My little girl, Laura, was sitting on the concrete, crying, her small hands covering her face, her golden hair gone, scattered across the ground like fallen sunlight. I rushed to her, my heart pounding. "Laura, baby, what happened?" Her voice trembled. "Miss Karen said you told her to cut my hair." My mind went blank. "What? Who told you that?" She pointed toward Karen's house, the self-proclaimed queen of our HOA, the woman who thought every mailbox, every flower, and every person in the neighborhood needed her permission to exist. But this time she'd gone too far. Let's rewind to a week earlier. It was a calm Friday afternoon. I was relaxing on my porch, sipping coffee, finally feeling some peace, until a rock slammed into my front door. Then another. I walked out, and there he was, Karen's son, Alex, standing in my yard throwing stones like it was batting practice. "Hey, what are you doing?" I shouted. The kid froze, then aimed again and hit my brand new car. "That's enough," I barked, storming toward him. "If you ever do that again, your mom will pay for the damage." He dropped the rock and ran. I sighed, thinking that was the end of it. But that moment of leniency was the biggest mistake of my life. The next evening, I heard pounding on my door. Not knocking, pounding. I opened it, and there she was, Karen, standing like she owned the street, robe flapping, sunglasses on, and anger in full bloom. "Why did you hit my son?" she yelled before I could even speak. "Excuse me?" I said, completely thrown off. "I didn't touch him," she snapped back. "He came home with bruises." "You think you can hit a child and get away with it?" My neighbor Greg, who had seen the whole thing, came over. "Karen, I was there," he said. "Your kid was throwing rocks. He didn't touch him." Instead of listening, she turned her rage on him. "Mind your business, Greg," she hissed. Then she looked at me, her lips curling into a smile. "You'll regret yelling at my boy." With that, she stormed off, heels clacking against the pavement like a warning shot. I didn't know what she meant, but something about the way she said it gave me chills. The next week, Lara was invited to Greg's house for a play date with his daughter. She was so excited, dressed her dolls, packed her tiny pink purse, and kissed me before I left for work. Everything was fine until I got home that evening and saw her sitting outside. Crying, bald, broken, I held her close, trembling. "Who did this to you?" I asked. Her sobs cracked my soul. "Miss Karen did it," she whispered. "She said you told her to." That was it. My patience snapped. I took her inside, calmed her down, and went straight to Greg's door. He looked shocked when he opened it. "She came here earlier," he said. "Said there was an emergency, that you needed Lara right away." "I didn't think—" "You let her take my daughter." I barked. Greg's face went pale. "I'm so sorry, man. I thought she was helping." But I wasn't listening anymore. My blood was boiling. I marched toward Karen's house, every step heavier than the last. She opened the door with that smug smirk I'll never forget. "Oh, it's you," she said mockingly. I glared at her. "You shaved my daughter's head?" She didn't even flinch. "Maybe next time you'll think twice before yelling at my son." My vision blurred. My jaw clenched so tight I could hear my teeth grind. But instead of yelling, I pulled out my phone and dialed 911. Police arrived within minutes, lights flashing, sirens echoing through the quiet cul-de-sac. Karen tried to act innocent, putting on her neighborly voice. "Officer, he's harassing me. He's been threatening my family." But the moment I showed them my daughter, trembling, bald, and terrified, their expressions hardened. "Ma'am, we need to talk," one officer said firmly. Karen's mask slipped instantly. "This is ridiculous." "That little brat had lice," she yelled. The officer cut her off. "That's not your decision to make." Within minutes, Karen was in handcuffs, still shouting as neighbors peeked out from their porches. Greg stood beside me, shaking his head in disbelief. "I can't believe she'd go that far," he said. I nodded silently, holding Lara close. The following week, the story spread through the HOA like wildfire. Some people defended her. Others wanted her gone. But everything changed the moment I handed over my porch camera footage. It showed everything: her son throwing rocks, me yelling but never touching him, and Karen herself threatening me later. The video became my shield, my proof. The district attorney didn't take long to file charges: child battery, emotional abuse, and harassment. At the trial, Karen showed up looking like she was walking into a fashion show. Confident, smug, and absolutely certain she'd win. Her lawyer tried to spin it. My client acted as a concerned citizen. She only intervened for the child's well-being. The judge stared at him coldly. You call forcibly shaving a child's head an act of concern? Then I played the footage, and the courtroom went silent. You could hear Lara's cries echoing, the sound of the clippers buzzing, Karen's mocking laughter in the background. Even the jury looked sick. Karen's face drained of color. Her lawyer's voice cracked. The judge slammed the gavel. You are guilty of child battery and emotional abuse. Karen's jaw dropped. He yelled at my son, she shouted. And you traumatized an innocent child, the judge said sharply. 3 years in prison, a $5,000 fine, and $50,000 in civil damages. The courtroom gasped. I didn't feel joy, just relief. As the officers cuffed her, the same neighbors who once feared her watched in stunned silence. Greg patted my shoulder. Justice finally came, man. I nodded, my eyes on Lara, who was smiling for the first time in days. Months passed. Her hair started to grow back, soft, golden, and full of life again. The HOA held an emergency meeting and voted to remove Karen from the board. Her house was repossessed soon after. The woman who once terrorized the neighborhood was gone for good. One evening, as I pushed Lara on the swing at the park, she looked up and asked, Daddy, is the bad lady gone forever? I smiled. Yes, sweetheart. Bad people always lose in the end. She giggled, her hair swaying in the breeze, a symbol that peace had finally returned. And as I looked at the sunset behind our quiet street, I whispered to myself, Karen, you cut my daughter's hair, but you lost everything that truly mattered.